Right, hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Hopefully it won't take too long for the live stream to fill up. Quite good, quite enjoying, looking forward to this. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. We had a real good stream last week, didn't we? Plenty of questions and what have you, and some real good content. Right, hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Hopefully it won't take too long for the live stream. Right, so hopefully a few people will drop in. Clayton B, hiya Clayton. You alright, mate? All the way over there from the US of A. Big shout out to Clayton. Big shout out, mate. Right, I'm just gonna have a bit of a chuck till a few people turn up. Hiya Neil, you alright mate? Simon Scott, hiya. Charlie the Boss Grey, hiya Charlie. Hope everything's alright with you. Love darts. Alright fella. Oh, I think I've got some of them very heavy darts, so I'm going to have a go a bit of that what you did last time, but I'm thinking possibly the next challenge or the challenge after that might be the Scottish Lad Does Darts Reviews Challenge, might be for heavy darts, hopefully, because I've ordered a set of them. It's not the Bunker Busters, it's another set from Darts Corner, but they're on the way to us now, so we should be able to do a bit of a feature with them. A.L. Jackson, hi A.L. Jackson. Paul McGuff, evening. Shabba, right Shabba, here's Shabba. Neil Magalski, hiya Neil mate, the only other man who's got one of them shirts. So good evening everybody. Right, if we've got any questions are out. Oh dear. Right lads and lasses, don't forget the thing at the end of month giveaway. So it's the free giveaway at the end of the month for anybody and everybody who contributes, no matter which way it is. You can see at the top of the screen there, we've got a Streamlabs donation site. We've got Skrill at the bottom of the screen there, and obviously if you don't go on if you do a super chat or something like that, it all goes to help out. So that's fantastic. What you did last week, I was absolutely bowled over. Absolutely bowled over. Right, where are we? They're heavy buggers, yes. I believe so. The ones that I've got are 48 grams. So like you say, with the flights and stems, you're looking at a good 50 grams, maybe a tiny little bit more. Do you use WDA? David Birtwhistle, WDA. Not sure what you're talking about there, fella. Paul Boardman, evening, Dave. Neil's Darts. Yeah. Good fun. Steve Lamore, evening, boss. Hi, Steve. You all right, mate? Yeah. Plenty of thumbs up. And anybody who's not already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It does make a big difference. Dave Birtwistle says, gotta say, Dave, your tips have been very helpful and useful, very helpful for my game. Well, that's what we're here for charities. Then I always have a go on them. So yeah, but I think a lot of people think we make a lot of money, and we don't, you know, not at all. You'd have to have, well, as I've always said in the past, you have to film cats licking their own behinds to make serious money on YouTube. Bohem. Can you throw with your eyes closed? I suppose I could do, but I can't see the point in it, to be honest with you. Macan Anderson. Anderson, yeah. Sounds like, hang on a minute, sounds like somebody from maybe the Netherlands or something like that. I just want to take a moment to thank you for all the good content. Cheers from Sweden. There you go, wasn't too far off, was I? Thanks very much, fella. Yeah, well, we're thinking, I love it, to be honest with you. As I think I made a little bit of a foray into it last week. We could all, well, I wouldn't say we could all, but I could definitely go down the routes of getting a tour card and becoming a pro. But at the end of the day, at my age and what have you, it's not the best time of life to start doing stuff like that. The other thing is I've always loved teaching people. Years and years ago, when I think I used to be an engineer, I used to be a motor vehicle engineer, I used to love teaching people, the apprentices, and people out and about. When I had my own business, I had my own garage for many years. What I used to do was, at night time, I used to teach people how to do points and condensers and change tyres, change wheels, dead simple stuff like that. How to like service the cars but stay away from the brakes. I always used to say to people, you can fiddle with your engine as much as you want as long as you don't touch your brakes. Right, so have we got any other questions in there? What darts are you throwing at the moment? Oh, well, these ones, which, as I'm sure you can see from there, you might be able to pick that up. Those are the BVD Scaracities. And I'm just, basically, to be honest with you, I just pick any setup and chuck with them. But these I've been using for the last couple of weeks pretty regularly. And they're flying pretty well for me, I've got to say. I had what do we call it, a full Zoom session with a chap called Grant just before we came on air, and I had an hour's rest to get something to eat, and then like I say, I'm back here on air. And I think while I was talking to him, I think it was somewhere around about 15 or 20 tons. I think it was about 10 or 11 140s. Again, like thing is, sometimes he just alludes there was no 180s. However, before he came, I was playing against the future son-in-law, and I think I hit 2 180s against him when we were playing earlier on. So it's one of them. Some matches you hit them, some matches you don't. But at the end of the day, the way that I see it, right, is, and I really believe this, really, truly, I do believe this, and it's trebles for show and doubles for dough. And I think that's a lot of why I like to do the finishes that I do, as well as them, to me, making ultimate sense. They just make ultimate sense to me. So, and plus the other thing is, as somebody pointed out in my last video, which was I can't remember anyway, the one that I put out the other day, I think it was the Dirk van Dijvenbode and the breathing video. They actually pointed out that oh no, it wasn't, sorry, it was the 5 legs with Dynamite Dave. They pointed out in that me adding up isn't very good, which is, you're quite right. My adding up's never been any good. I've got a little bit of number dysphoria and a bit of dyslexia. I had a very deep squint when I was a very young lad, when I was like in between 5, the years where you learn how to write and what have you, and you learn how to add up. And to be honest with you, I didn't really learn either of them. I was really, really bad in school. So I wasn't quite Johnny at the back of the class. I wasn't disruptive. I just didn't really learn much, to be honest with you. So it takes a long time to pick that up in later life. Chat discontinued. Please wait while we try to reconnect you. All right. Right, so they've cut the chat off for now. No doubt it'll come back shortly. Oh, and the other thing that I'm going to try and do and all is I'll try and sort out for next week so as we can get on that. Is it Knacker or something like that? There's a couple of them out there, isn't there? So a couple of you lads can actually have a game with us. So it'd be quite fun, that, wouldn't it? Right, lads and lasses, hopefully we're back. Had a temporary bit of an outage there for some reason. Right, yes, we're back up and running again now. Right, so I don't know how much of that you missed. Hopefully it wasn't too much. Yes, Mr. A.L. Jackson, you're absolutely right. I don't know what happened there. I think it must have been something to do with YouTube, because my Wi-Fi and everything is wall to wall here. There's no problem with that. So I'm just wondering that because there might be a lot of traffic on YouTube at this time of night, that maybe that's what's caused it. Right, so anyway, we're up and running again now. Hallelujah. Right, so I'm just having a little bit of a chuck at the moment. Dynamite there, look like a bingo caller. Yes, I absolutely. Oh yeah, the story behind that one's another peach and all, I'll tell you. What do you call it? I've got, I'll tell you now, I've got a lavalier mic that clips on my lapel here. I bought all this new stuff, spent a fortune on it, like you do. And I had the lavalier mic on, and the box that's the gubbins for transmitting it to the laptop. What I did was I put it down my shirt and let go of it, thinking my fat belly would stop it from dropping out the bottom. So what did it do? Dropped out the bottom and virtually half ripped the wire out of the microphone at the top. So the only choice I've got is, hang on, let's get it this way. Where is it? Where is it? It's over here somewhere, isn't it? Yeah. I've got my receptionist. So which department would you like me to put you through to? Yeah, I know there was a lot of buffering. It would, like I say, it must have been at what do we call it? YouTube's end, because at my end, I'm wall to wall with the Wi-Fi and everything else. We did this afternoon. What I do in the afternoon before I have a live stream at night time is we did about 15-20 minutes of me and the son-in-law playing. Well, the future son-in-law, I should say. Hopefully playing darts for a good half an hour, 45 minutes. And it just stayed wall to wall all the way through, no problems whatsoever. So hopefully it should be all right from now on. How do I enter this month's? Right, A.L. Jackson, fantastic question. Waiting for somebody to ask that. Because of the trouble that we've had over the last few weeks prior to this, what we've had to do is we can't have anymore, right? Because we're just not allowed to, simple as that. It's breaking some community guidelines in certain places, and that's why if you notice on the screen, we've got Skrill now and Streamlabs, because my usual pattern of taking money, I've shall we say, seen their ass with me, and sorry to swear, but I've been booted off. So now I've had to look for different ways of getting it in. So how it works now is, it doesn't matter how you contribute. It doesn't matter whether you do a super chat. It doesn't matter whether you contribute from the Streamlabs link at the top there. I'm not sure whether that I've actually embedded that properly yet or not. So you might go on that and you might not. If you hover over it, it might not click on or do anything. But that's the actual address. So if you can copy and paste that address in, or go to Streamlabs and just type in Dynamite Dave, it'll come up with my link there. And also, all my future videos that I do on YouTube will have that Streamlabs link underneath. Other people from anywhere outside the UK, inside the UK you can use it, but there's a fee. If you send me money from outside the UK, the best way to do it is that at the bottom. It's called Skrill. Type it in, it'll come up. Now, there's a way you can do it from your actual bank account without joining, but I believe it's really long-winded. And also, you've got to give that much information, you might as well have an account. So if you think it, and it's an up-and-coming thing, it's getting more and more bigger and bigger and stronger as a replacement for. So that's another good way if you're going to contribute, if you're going to contribute, so you will be put into the end of month free raffle. Then that is a good way to do it, because once you've got it in and you've got your wallet and what have you, it's just a matter of transferring whatever you want then. And we all know what it's for. Right, let's have a look on some of these now. Mush Gaming. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not fat enough, yeah. Do you know something? There's no point in doing stuff like that to me, because I know how fat I am. I know how ugly I am, and I don't care. If you try and look for them soft bits in me, mate, you won't find them. The best set of darts you've used since starting the channel. Right, now this is something that you asked me on my normal YouTube channel, and it was something that I picked up, and you're not going to believe this, but I've actually got it written on the thing of the whiteboard behind. Now, darts are very subjective. What have I had? My best set of darts and my favourite set of darts since I ever started the channel has got to be the ones that I had when I started the channel. And here they are. They're not looking very pretty at the moment, but these are like a pair of old slippers. I won't mind, but it feels like one at Flights is split. Them. And they're a set of Target Carrera C3s, which I've had, like I say, since I started the channel. So these are 5 years old, 4.5, 5 years old. And you know something? They still chuck as good today as they ever did. The only thing that you find with these is the grip. Hey, A.L. Jackson, thank you, mate. Cheers. That's you in the end of month raffle, end of month draw, free prize draw. I'll get shot. So yeah, these are my favourite ones from right the way from when I started the channel. Reason being is the grip. I've got sweaty hands, right? So I need quite a high level of grip personally. So when I came across these, at first, I didn't really like them that much because the grip on them was mental. It was really, 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 really... They used to stick to your fingers when you let go of them. But I persevered with them for a couple of weeks. And what happens is, it sounds disgusting this, but it's not really. The dead skin builds up in them. And it gets to a point where they're just absolutely perfect. And even now when I pick them up, and I've made the mistake, we all do this, I cleaned them a few times over the years. Got the old scrubbing brush on them, or toothbrush, use the missus's toothbrush, you know, like you do. Got the missus's toothbrush and some Vim on them, and give them a good cleaning out. I'm only kidding, by the way, didn't use the wife's toothbrush at all. Oh, nice one, Dean Brown, thank you very much. Another one, thank you very much. Really appreciate that, it's great. Like I say, done these once or twice with a toothbrush and what have you, and regretted it for a couple of weeks afterwards until the grip builds up, because if you clean them out, the grip comes back again, just as aggressive as it ever was. But yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll have a bit of a chuck with them, shall I? I've not chucked these for months. Let's have a bit of a chuck with them. And these are the old Carrera C3s. Oh dear. Hand's not working at all. You know why that is though, because I've done a good few coaching sessions today and I'm a bit tired, if truth be known. 60. Another couple of handfuls in and I'm sure it'll start to tighten up a bit. Ugh. Oh, just noticed on these as well. Look at the length of the shafts on them. That's a bit better. 95. Ashley Calver is in the house. Maybe worth saving for the 50. Champions Choice. Yeah, the Champions Choice board, I've got one of them. Really good for short periods. I use mine for, if I've got a comp on or something like that, might use it for half an hour or an hour before. Ken O'Rourke, mate, absolute dazzler. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. I think we might have to set the thing of the Rust Bray up, for everybody. Let's get this set up. Good fun this was last week, wasn't it? Watch this, knowing my luck, Russ will be knocking at the front door in 10 minutes, moaning about me having this on. Ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg dynamite to throw game on.
Right, for everybody who's put some pennies in up to now, we've got to have, haven't we?
180.
Question, Dave. How do we keep a TikTok motion going? I seem to drift off. Should I use some sort of metronome? No. What you need to do, trying to get myself in middle of this thing here. Right, no, what you need to do is you need to learn to relax between throws. You've probably, depending on how much of a dart fan or how many years you've been watching darts, it's something that Phil Taylor used to tell a lot of people. You've got to learn to be able to relax, not only between matches, not only between sets, but between legs and also between throws. So really what you've got to do, the way I see it and the way I work it, is getting yourself into the right state of mind. It's absolutely crucial for not only playing matches, but for practicing as well. That's why I say to people, and again, it's something that doesn't go down very well with some people, but it all depends on how good you want to be. I can teach you everything in the world, but if you don't want it, if you're not prepared to put that dedication and that time into it, I can't force you to do that. If I was selling snake oil, I'd sell it you in a bottle, and I'd say to you, this will cure all your ills with 2 sips of this. No, mate. What you've got to do is, the only way that you're going to become a good dart player is by persevering. And don't think that I'm having a go at you, because I'm not. All I'm doing is I'm just telling it the way that I always tell it, and I'm not aiming this at you. I'm telling everybody, yeah, that you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. Now, that actual saying came from a lot of thought, and I tried to think of putting something into like a bit of a saying, like my toe to the hockey. I wanted another one which would stick in people's minds, and it's absolutely true. And it doesn't matter whether it's darts, it doesn't matter what aspect of your life it is, whether it's your kids, whether it's your job, you'll only ever get out of it what you're prepared to put in. And with darts, for my way of thinking, is you've got to go at it as if you mean it. It's like I say to people, I have quite a few people here, and I'll give them 200 head start, and we'll have a bit of a game, a bit of a laugh and what have you. I'll let them win a couple of legs. I'll probably just be like chucking at the board and not really meaning it. As soon as a tenner goes down, or 20 quid goes down, I ain't your friend no longer, and I ain't going to talk to you, because if you want that money, you've got to take it. And that's the attitude you've got to have if you want to be a winner. So what you've got to do, going back to the original subject after me waffling, is you've got to have the right frame of mind for practicing as well as playing matches. So what I do is, what you see me stood up in here now is what I practice in. Every now and again, if it's an informal practice, I might practice in a t-shirt. But today I'm stood here in front of the camera. I've got my shirt on, I've got my trousers on. The only thing I haven't got on is my dancing shoes. They're the only thing that I haven't got on, for the simple reason is they've got hard like Cuban heels, and they make a lot of noise downstairs, and then don't curry much favour with the wife if I do that, because obviously I sound like a baby elephant, probably because I'm the size of one. But yeah, that's my theory behind it. Is and what you saw telling about getting the TikTok motion, what you need to be doing is, when you've retrieved your darts from the board, as you're walking back round the back of the hockey, make sure that you're breathing yourself down, calming yourself down, thinking about the TikTok motion, just getting yourself up there, get onto the hockey, look at your target, and just let your arm come backwards and forwards. Just a lovely, smooth, dead nice action like that. No effort whatsoever. See, the more, again, see, I'm waxing lyrical for ages here, but the more effort you put in, the more like this you get, the more tense you get, and the more you start throwing the darts harder at the board, the less accurate you're going to become, because you're putting tension into your body. And we've heard people like Chris Mason and what have you, and Alan Warren a little, all talk about tension in the throwing arm. And that tension isn't only in your arm, it's in your head, it's in your chest, it's in your stomach, it's everywhere. So that's why I talk about the breathing down and about calming yourself down. If you're nice and calm when you get to the hockey, and you're basically just plopping those darts where you want them to go, a lot more of them will go where you want them to go than you would ever believe. And that's just one element of it. But yeah, getting that nice tick-tock motion. Half of it is the actual physical attribute of doing it, and the other half of it is your mental state as you're doing it. So just calm yourself down, just make yourself nice and limp and relaxed. As I say, like you're having a bath. So this is how I throw. I think you can see me from the side there. It's just like no effort at all. Not fantastic grouping, but I'm not trying. I'm just, hey, Mr. Shabba. Here we go, mate. This is it, all for you.
180.
Thanks so much, Shabba. Starman, thank you. $100. Bit of a scruffy one, but a ton's a ton, innit, lads? Ton's a ton. Oh, come on. See, it takes me a bit of chucking without gabbing to lock in. There we go. 140. Go on, Steve Lamore. Go on, lad. 140. Right, so let's see if we've got any more questions now. I've waffled on for an hour and a half. Oven Star. Hang on a minute, I get all right. So I think that's the middle of a conversation, that one. Yeah, it's this lockdown has been bad for everybody. And the thing is like a lot of people play the online darts and what have you. Am I overmodulating out there? Is my voice like cracking up or anything because it's going right into the red on me decibel doofer? I thought that'd make you laugh, Steve. Thought that'd make you laugh, mate. Yeah. Yes, Paul, you're absolutely right, mate. That is what 99.9% of what do you call it? It's what 99.9% of people do is they overthink things. Way! Thanks, Dave. Cheers, Dave, mate. Hang on a minute. We've got to get you on in here.
180.
Hey.
141.
Oh, no. Apparently, I require 141 somehow. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that, Dave. Right. Where were we? Hang on a minute. Where were we? I was answering a question for somebody. Yeah, about overthinking things. You've hit the nail on the head there, mate. What happens, right, is, and we'll talk about this time as well. We've all seen this, and I've talked about it once or twice before, but hopefully I'll say a few different things than I have done before. Is you'll see so many professional players when you watch telly. If you watch a tournament right the way through, and actually just have this in the back of your mind, how many of them do what thingy Gerwyn Price did in the World Championships in that last match against Gary Anderson? He was in the zone, and then what he started to do was overthink it, and he started to put pressure on himself. He could see that winning line, and you could see the way that he was taking some massive breaths to breathe himself down to try and get the nerves out of him, to get those last few darts and the last few legs to clinch that championship. He did it in the end, certainly did, but look at the effort that it took him. Now, I believe personally, and if he would have been one of my, call them students, whatever you want to call them, followers, whatever, if he'd have been one of my lads or one of my players, I would have been drilling into him before that match. When you get into the zone or you get into a purple patch, the way to maintain it for a long period of time is by making sure that you're deadly calm between every throw. We all get excited. I mean, obviously, different things to different people mean different things. So you get some lads a 100. One of the things, the lads that I wasn't coaching today, wasn't yesterday. Yes, I think it might have been yesterday. I did 2 sessions for him, and he's never thrown a 180. But he said to me, he said he's never even seen a live one. He's only ever seen one on telly. So that shows the different levels that people are at that I actually coach. And before this, I was coaching a lad called Grant, a Scottish lad, and he's a Super League player. So, you know what I mean? It's everybody from every level. And he was saying, I've never seen a live one, a live 180. He says, and I've never thrown anything more than a ton. Well, in the second of our 2 sessions, because we had an hour one day and an hour the following day, towards the end of that second session was the first ever 140 he'd ever hit. And when we were thinking we were doing the second session out of the 2, I did a live 180 for him. And like you're here now, you can see the boards in the board in one corner and me in the other. I had it set up like that. So that was the first ever, what he considered to be live 180 that he'd ever seen. So it just goes to show, and the thing is, it's like horses for courses. Like I say, he's like, a 180 to him is everything, whereas to me it's a daily occurrence. But for him, if he puts the hours in and he puts the effort in, it will become a daily occurrence. So it comes back to the saying, doesn't it? You only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. Right, so what shall we do now? Shall we do a little bit of a review? Hey, let's have a little bit of a review, shall we? Oh, here I've got some here that we've not seen before. Let's get them out from the bottom here. The man who's on the comeback, the comeback kid. It's the RBV darts. I'm still trying to break these teeth in for me gran, you know. These RVB darts, Raymond van Barneveld. So these have never been opened. I've never had them out of the box. Let's have a look and see what they're like, shall we? Right, let's get them out. Right, now these will be part of the end of month free prize draw. No, it's not even a prize, it's just a free draw. Right, and how do they come? Oh, by Target, made by Target there, you see. And they come in a really, nice little bar wallet there, a leather bar wallet. As you can see on the side there, very well presented are the 3 RVB flights. Do you know something? I thought my chat had stopped then. It was me. I clicked on it while I read something and it didn't start moving again. All these things you've got to learn about these live broadcasts, eh? Well, I'll get there in the end, won't I? Right, so let's have a close look at the barrel. Mic, not speaker. Hang on, what's going on here? Dave, does it matter the shape of the darts? I have. I think I've started liking barrels with a bulb at the end. Right, now, that one. And that's from, I haven't got my glasses on, Lister HP, Lister, by the look of it. Right, yeah, shapes of barrels. Now, shapes of barrels are very personal. It's the sort of thing that, if you think about it, the way I see them, it's like flies and fishermen, right? Certain fishermen will like certain coloured flies, like I like blue coloured flies, you know, blue darts. I like blue coloured flies, but to be honest with you, I'm starting to grow on yellow as well now, and I'm going away from this little bit of a review, but we'll carry on with that as we're doing this. The difference in shape of darts really is determined by, it depends on what you need. The ones with a small bulb on the front but quite an elongated back on them are like a crossover from a bomb shaped dart, which is your your Johnny Low types, your Johnny Low type darts. They're a proper bomb. The thing when you've got a bulb on the front is it means the front weighted. And normally, and from my perspective, what I've found, and that's all I can talk about, like I say, the lads like Neil's Darts, who's an absolute star, and all the other ones that are on, Scottish lad Kieran from Scottish Lad Does Darts reviews, lads from Brewskis, everybody who does like proper reviews, Darren from Finger, Darren Watson from the Darts Review channel, all those lads do like proper in-depth reviews, and they look at the different aspects of the barrels and the coatings that they've got on them, etc. Whereas I like to give more of a perspective of what they feel like to throw, and what I think, how well I think they're made, how well they're engineered, and whether I think they'll last. And as I say, the ones with a bulb on the front, they tend to be a little bit more forward weighted. So what you'll do is you'll get a little bit of a dip off at the end. That's what I tend to find. Bombs, when you throw them, they don't go in a nice arc to the board like my straightish darts do. They tend to sort of like peter off towards the end. Not a lot you can do about that. I've tried loads of different things, throwing them a little bit harder with a little bit more arm speed, but shallowing off the trajectory, but it always seems that they dive a little bit towards the end. Now, that can be good if that's what you're used to, because that's what Phil Taylor used to do. The type of darts he used to throw towards the end, if you looked at them, they were like a bomby type dart, but what he was doing, and don't forget, these are only my opinions, they're not gospel or anything like that, they're just purely my opinions, was he used a bomb-shaped dart and then had to butcher flights to try and stop them from diving at the end of the throw, because that's what I think was happening, and that's why he got them so as they lay flat downwards in the board like that, by making the actual flight at the back smaller and smaller, so it had less purchase through the air. So that made the darts fall back towards the end of the throw instead of going in like a natural bomb downwards. Right, so back to the RVB darts. Let's have another look on here. What's my favourite shirt? Oh, there's only one it can be now, isn't there? What does it say on the back of it? This is my favourite shirt. It's got to be on it. This one, which is the latest one. And Brian Van Doren gave me this nickname a while back. Let's get it over in there. And as you can see, the ultimate darts coach. I love that. That's thinking, and it wasn't me who called myself that. It was someone else, which makes it a bit more special. Brian said he'd heard it off a few people. Dave Llewellyn, I think, is the ultimate darts coach. So he put it on a shirt for me and sent it me without me even knowing. So fantastic. So that's my favourite shirt at the moment. I've got loads here, mate. Loads and loads of them. My non-Dynamite Dave favourite shirt, we'll have that one, shall we? And that's this one. And I don't think personally his later ones were a patch on it, because we've seen them all. But this is my favourite shirt of all time. This, and I've got some ones that I'm very attached to, like an Eric Bristow one and what have you. But I think this was one of the best shirts that was ever printed. I absolutely love this. This is fantastic. The detailing and everything on it. Whoever made this for Phil, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Whoever designed that, I tell you what, I wish they designed me a shirt. But yes, right, let's have a see if we can find some other questions. And actually, I tell you what, we'll get on with this. I'll do this review, right, and then we'll come back to talking about some more stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these RVB darts out, and let's see if I can chuck them. Take me a couple of handfuls to get the feel of them, and I'll tell you exactly what I think of them. Now these, believe it or not, nice tale for you this, and it shows you what I think us YouTube lads do, and it's just the way we are. The darting YouTube lad, the darting community, the YouTube lads is absolutely fantastic. Now, what I've done with these, let me see if I can find. It's going to be typical this. I'm not going to be able to find a set of shafts now, am I? Shafts and flights built up. Oh yes, I will. Oh yes, I will. Here we go. Now look, got the old tray full of stuff here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bang some flights in these, and we'll give them a bit of a chuck for you. Let's chuck them down on the floor. But yeah, as I was saying, as I'm screwing these onto these flights, these Raymond van Barneveld darts, believe it or not, at work, where I work, every year as a Christmas box, we used to get an M&S, a Marks and Spencer's Amper. And then a couple of 3 years ago, they decided that they were going to convert that, the M&S Amper, to a £20 gift voucher for Love to Shop. So if you remember last year when I did the Christmas raffle with Christmas, I'm not supposed to mention that, but it's not to do with what's going on. So anyway, when I did the Christmas raffle, not this Christmas just gone, the Christmas before, I actually spent my vouchers from work on stuff for the raffle because it wasn't fetching as much money in as I was spending. So that's what I did last year, and I've done it again this year. And believe it or not, I actually had a set of these darts, these very same darts last year, and gave them away in the Christmas raffle. Right, so bit of a one down memory lane, I suppose. Right, so let's have a see. Now the grip on them is, I'd say, a 2.5. 2.5, maybe 3. Yeah, 2.5 more like. There's not a lot of grip to them. There's a decent spacing. There's actually a decent spacing on the barrel there between the actual cuts or the grooves, whichever way you want to call it. See, I keep feeling, because these are things feel like me glasses, so I'm trying to pull my glasses down. But yeah, they've got that the orange, I suppose it's nitride, some form of nitride paint or coating in there. Decent sort of grip on them. I don't think they're a massive amount of money. I think they were 35 quid, something like that. So let's have a first chuck of them and see how they go. But now these feel like they're quite forward weighted. $41. But yeah, they're a bit, the grip level's quite low on them, and they don't feel very grippy or very as controllable as, let's say, some of the darts that are even cheaper than these. But I'm going to need 2 or 3 handfuls to get the shape right and everything, the feel right in my hand. So we shall do that. That's more like it. Starting to group a little bit now. And as I say, when I'm doing my coaching, doesn't matter where the first one lands, just follow it till you get used to throwing. Especially when you get a new set of darts, don't go trying to hit 180s with them straight away, because it's very rare that will work. There we go. There you are, see, third visit in and they're starting to group a bit now. Yep, so not a bad dart. Not a bad dart, a little bit. I think the setup might be a little bit short. Seem to be going off a little. There we go. 83. Starting to get the hang of them now. Yeah, Oven Star, you're absolutely right. Is that Canadian Dart Reviews? Do you throw assessments offline? Yeah. I think you're asking, do I do coaching? Yeah, I do. Think I do face-to-face coaching over WhatsApp. I do it over Facebook Messenger. Zoom is my favourite at the moment. That's working quite well for me. But yes, I do coaching as a professional arm of darts coaching with Dynamite Dave, yeah. Oh, come on, David. Groupings there, 64. Yeah, it's taking a little bit longer to get used to these than a normal set of darts, because as I say, the grip level's quite low on them. And they seem a bit flighty, if you know what I mean. If you understand that. Yeah, they just feel like they're going off. But as I say, at the end of the day, it's not the darts that are going off, it's me. My shirt. Yes, Neil Migalski. Exactly right. Yeah, Brian from BVD sent me 2 of those shirts. The yellow ones. And Neil impressed me that much with his dedication. And this is just one of the things that I do. Neil impressed me that much with his dedication. He happened to mention to me during one of our coaching sessions that his birthday was coming up, and it just fell absolutely bang on that it was coming up for his birthday. So I sent him. He's the only other person in the world that's got one of these yellow shirts with Dynamite Dave, the Ultimate Darts Coach on the back. Dave Llewellyn, the Ultimate Darts Coach, sorry, on the back. So yes, Neil, you're absolutely right. You're the only other guy in the world that's got one of them on his back. Yeah. Oh, I said yeah then, because it was what I actually aimed for. Yes, they do seem very flighty, them. Right, so that's the Raymond van Barneveld darts. There they go. The barrels, they seem quite short. And if you look, they taper off towards the back, go a tiny little bit thicker in the middle, and then sort of flat towards the front. Bit odd then, bit odd, but yeah, they're all right, and for the money that they cost, really quite good. Let's have a read of some of these questions now. Do you think Simon Whitlock's points should be banned? Would you be happy walking up to the hockey seeing the treble 20 smashed? Do you know something? And it's just a sad fact. The Simon and a few other players a few years ago, and I don't know whether they're any different now, but the unicorn boards that they use in the PDC are trash. They had a load of people where the actual darts were falling out of them. I mean, I understand Simon Whitlock's darts don't stick in much anyway, but personally, maybe something like the old Allen key points that he had, right, were just about tolerable. But these new ones that are like the files, believe it or not, they're actually carbon, like not diamond, but like a carbon composite file. So basically it's a bit like a sandpaper. So I think what they do is they get the actual steel, well, not molten, but red hot, and then dip it into these granules and then cool it down very quickly, and those granules eat into the surface of the metal, and then they become like a tiny little rat tail file, the 2mm rat tail files, basically. And yes, I don't think they should be allowed personally, but that's, again, it's a personal thing. Some people might think they're fantastic. Me, I wouldn't use them myself. And yes, if I was one of the top people at the PDC, I would be seriously asking some questions about them. Yeah, I definitely would. Can actually help opponents. I wonder if it can actually help opponents. I often try to find a small mark or a hole to focus my aim when throwing. Maybe they do the same. Well, yeah, Ashley, that's what I've told you this for years. Same thing when you go into the pub. What I do is I'll look at the dartboard, I'll look at the 60, and you always find a little piece of sisal or a little mark, a black mark where somebody's had dirty hands, where they've come in from work, come into the pub for a pint on the way home, and they've got a little bit of axle grease or something like that on the board in the 60. You're absolutely right. And I also say to people, if you're going to have a board that you play on games in the house and you've got an old one, get a Sharpie, and I'm not talking like the end of a knitting needle dot, I'm talking about the end of a pinhead dot in the middle of each of your doubles and your trebles. So basically like you're colouring a hair or two hairs in, 1 or 2 pieces of sisal right in the middle. Tiny little dot, not a big fat one, a tiny little one. And if the smaller you make it, the harder it is to see, the more you've got to stare at it and the more you've got to concentrate to see it. You throw at that dot when you're concentrating and looking at it like that, and you just watch how much more accurate you are, because what you're doing is you're dragging your focus in. You start off with your focus being on the board, right? And then when you end up as like a really good dart player, you should be able to bring your focus down to within, I'd say, probably a 1/4 of an inch circle that you're actually aiming at. All right, you're not hitting that 1/4 of an inch circle, but you always have a margin of error, right? And that margin of error, you need to get that as small as possible. So if you're looking at the treble on the board, which is, let me go on over here. If you're looking at the treble on the board here, right, and you're throwing at that, your margin of error, if you're a decent dart player, is going to be that. That's your margin of error. Now, if you've got a tiny little air in the middle of it, now I'm not going to do it to this one because this board is actually on long-term test at the moment. And I'll tell you something, you look at that treble 20, and this must have had a minimum of 100 games on it, where we're throwing at the 60 all the time. And look at that compared to that. Do you know something? For 30 nicker, these boards are immense. They're fantastic. I never thought I would say this about another board other than the Blade 5, but I've got to say I'm absolutely impressed with these. The only thing that I'm not really impressed about is these people at all. But we might go into that at a later date. But yeah, back to what I was actually talking about. If you can visualize a tiny little mark in the middle of there, so basically a pinhead, then your focus level around it is that big. So it's just over the wire, just under the wire, and either side of it in the treble. And that's what bringing your focus down is all about. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about bringing your focus levels down. So instead of, as everybody does, stop looking at the board and look at a specific part of the board. If you look directly at the double 15, don't think about what your arm's doing, don't think about what your hand's doing, and just with your mind, put your dart into that double 15. You'll find yourself being a lot closer to it than you've ever been before, without actually, like, physically trying. Right, so, yeah, we've got that one. Go on here. Right, go down a little bit. Ashley will actually help opponents. That's what we've just explained. Dave, quick technical question. Any advice, tips for a smooth transition from backswing through front swing? Cheers. Yep, certainly have. And it's what I call arm out practice. Now, you see a lot of dart players, and this is another thing that a lot of dart players, unfortunately, and it sort of like it ends, if they're a pub player, it ends their enjoyment of playing and they end up with a very mild form of dartitis. And that usually starts with people coming here and stopping here. If you stop at the back of your swing, it gives you your brain time to interfere. Right, now these are the sort of insights that I normally keep to private coaching lessons, right? But seeing as you've asked the question, I'm going to answer you. If you bring your arm back and stop at the back of it, and then drive your arm forward to throw the dart, it doesn't matter how far backwards or how far forwards it is, you're giving your brain time to interfere in what you're doing. And if you do that, then it can be the start of dartitis, but it can also be one of the massive reasons why you're inaccurate, because you're throwing your darts with too much mental interference. Rather than trusting your body and throwing the darts and putting the darts where you want them to go and trusting your body to put them where you want to go, what you're doing is you're forcing it, if you know what I mean. You're going to the back and then you're thinking about it and then you're driving the darts forward. When you do that, your brain's interfering with your actions. If you get a rhythm going, and I'm going to show you now, like I say, normally something that I don't normally teach live or on the YouTube channel, but it's one of my little tips that if Darts Wolf TV carried on, which I've not seen him for a while, before anybody says I have no idea what's happened. I just noticed that all his programs seem to have disappeared, but I've not had it. He's not emailed me, he's not spoke to me or anything like that, so I have no idea why. But this is one of my little practice routines. Let me see if I can get the camera a little bit better for you. Right, so let's see if you can see. Yes, you can see there, I think. Right, so what we do is we start off with the arm out in front. Right, and what we do is we fetch it back and straight out. To the front, back and straight out. To the front, back and straight out. And that will stop you from stopping at the back of your throw. So you'll notice when I actually throw seriously, you'll actually notice when I throw seriously, I have a hitch in my throw. And that is really just as it comes back. What it does is if you fetch your darts up and you come in and straight back out again, you can end up with a wobbly arm. Because you're going across and you're coming onto the actual stop, then the arm can bounce back off the stop if you just go straight into it. So that's why I always fetch my arm up like this, and then what I do is it comes in, I hitch, which is that little bit there, that little stop right there, and then it comes back, a full backswing and a full forward swing without any stop at the back of it. So again, that little routine, arm out in front like that. And to be honest with you, some people are actually chucking like this now. Arm out in front and then just straight back and straight out. And there you go. Won't be bad that if you wanted 5, would it? Right, so that's that little tip. So if you're stopping at the back of your throw, try and get out of that habit because it's not good. See if we can get that a little bit more level. Yes. So I won't look like I'm the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Right, see what else we've got. Ryan Parr. Trident nose cones. Yep. To help with flight life. Right now, where they've gone, where have you gone? I can't see them at this moment, but a really nice chap said to me about these Trident points. The Trident points have come now. Wherever she's gone, there she is. I now have the point tool to change them. So this is the dedication, you see. I actually bought a tool just to put these points in that some really nice person had sent me. So I got myself a point tool just to do it. I've never had one before. Now, my brother's darts, and going off at a tangent again, our kids' darts that are from the 1980s, those 28 grammars, well, they're not bombs, they're straight, but they're very heavy. Those, the points in them were 1980s points. And as you can imagine, over the years, they've been filed and they've been done with sandpaper and they've been done on bricks on the side of the road. That's what we used to do in the back garden. We used to have an old stone, like out of one of the cottages from round the corner. And we used to go out into the back garden to sharpen our darts. So how far have we come, eh? So those points were still in them darts. So I said to our kid, I said, let's order some points offline and I'll have a go at changing your points for you. I tell you what, you should have seen the thing of the effort that it took for them points. The snap that they went with. I thought the points had snapped off. The first one that I did, I thought it had actually snapped the points. It went with an almighty bang. For such a little point anyway. It probably wasn't that bad. It just seemed really bad. But yeah, Trident points. To get back to actually answering the question, the Trident points, right, I'm not sure about, but this week, what are we on now? Sunday. Yes, this week coming, I'll be doing a video where what I'm going to do is that one where I do it from over the top and I'm going to change the points on the thing on screen for you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a couple of hours worth of chucking, do a couple of videos of me chucking them in that a couple of hours of using them, and I'll give you an idea, because these lovely L-style flights that Johnny Cree did for me, these are starting to get a bit chewed now. So hopefully if those points make a big difference to that. I mean, I'm a click system man, always have been, and I don't know whether I always will be, but I like these, but the actual silent spinning stems that you can get for them are garbage. the what do you call it? You can feel them moving about. They're all right for the first week or so, and then you can just they've got play in them, and that just doesn't. I don't like that. It doesn't. I don't like being able to feel the flights rattling around on the stems as you're actually throwing with them. Right, where are we? Ryan Parr. Right, that's the one that I've just answered. Ryan, thanks very much for that question. Right, no, never used Condor Zero Stress. To be honest with you, I did get some, but I don't know whether they were Condors or not, but they were all one piece. They were like a flight and stem combined that Carlos the Bull, well, as he used to, Carlos the Rhino, or it was Carlos the Bull. Yeah, he's the Rhino now, isn't he? I think it was Carlos the Bull at the time. And what do you call it? He gave me a set. I think he sent them me in the post, and they were like jelly. They were really weird. You could bend them, and they'd stay bent. So when you threw your darts would go all over the place. But if these Condor systems, if you think they're really good, drop me an email and send me a set so I can review them, and I'll do you a massive thank you on air for them and everything. Anybody wants to do that for me, that's absolutely fine. All you've got to do is email me at dj.llewellyn123@outlook.com, and I'll send you my postal address. And if you've got anything there that you'd like me to review, or you'd like me to do a little bit of a chat on, send it to me, and I'll have a do at it. Right. All right, we're getting a bit of thinking from Paul there. Definitely make the flights last longer. Well, there you go. You've got your information there then. Excellent. Yeah, please hit those thumbs up. More likes I get, the better. And anybody who's on here that's not subscribed to the YouTube channel, get over there and subscribe to it. Give me some likes, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Doing too much yakking here tonight. I'm chucking like the thingy like the 7-year-old next door. That's better. No, it's not. 1895. It's trouser. Rubbish. Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you. I know Unicorn have been produced the PDC, or have been linked with the PDC for years and years and years. To be honest with you, all right, if the Unicorn are linked in with the PDC, why aren't the PDC putting pressure on them to produce proper boards? That's the way I see it. Is if I was the PDC, if I was Barry Earn and the other people behind the PDC, I'd be saying to Unicorn, you better start producing some boards that actually work, that are actually tough enough to resist what's actually happening to the boards. There's no way a board should last like that. Oh, there you go. Not bad. Probably one of the best ways to get 7. You know what that means? Where I come from, 7 pounding the pot. That's what you have to do in a cup. Well, few of the pubs where I've been chucking for years and years. You get a 7, it's a pound in the pot. Oh, come on, David. Grouping's good, it's just off to one side. Oh, come on, David. 81. See, I'm doing what I tell everybody not to do, tell myself off. Rusty Man TV. Hiya, Rusty, mate. You alright? Hope you're well. You're in here right towards the end. It was only supposed to be an hour. It was supposed to finish at 7 o'clock, and it's like nearly 10 past now. So, what I'll do next week is I might make it 6:30 till 7:30 or something. Try and get the people who might not be able to get on till a little bit later on. Paul Nicola, any recommendations for a new board, Dave? Up to now, mate, one of them. Seriously, I mean that's the mission 1, the Samurai 1. that, believe it or not, came in a Samurai 2 box. And believe it or not, again, when I contacted Mission to tell them all about it, they were very, very polite, but not interested. All they told me about was where I'd got the boards from, and really, the guy who I got them off, really, really good, delivered them here and delivered them and everything. They contacted him, he said that it might have been a display board. Now I've got another one in a box, but I want to open that on camera to see whether that one's the same. Now if that's a 2, it could just be a mistake, but it seems a bit strange that the darts referee, exactly the opposite happened to him, but he bought his board a long time before I bought mine. He got a Samurai 2 in a Samurai 1 box. Now wouldn't you have thought that Mission, as a big company as what they are, would have just turned around and said, listen, Dynamite Dave, don't worry about it, mate. We'll mail you one out now. And that's what I'd have been telling you now. They were really good, great customer service. Wanted to make sure that nobody could say anything negative about them on YouTube. And I'm not saying anything negative about them apart from their actual reaction to me telling them that they'd boxed the stuff up wrong, which it could have been. I did it in the first place, not because I want a new board, because I don't want a new board. I'm not interested. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is if they're selling those boards out to members of the public and the wrong boards are in them. That's going to do them a lot more damage when you've got, say they've got a batch of 100 boards and they've got them all in the wrong boxes. Those 100 people are going to tell at least another 100 people, if not another 500 people. So I was hopefully trying to help them in the first place, but just one of them things. You get certain companies that are great to deal with, and it's usually the small ones, like Loxley Darts and what have you. Fantastic place to deal with, but the small, you see, when people get like Mission and Target and what have you, all you are is basically just money, nothing else, just revenue, and that's all they see you as, which is unfortunate, but that's the way it is. Hello, Dave. Ostivan. Hey, Osti the Van Man. Recommendations for a new board. Yeah, like I say, can't say anything about the board. The board's fantastic. I've got to say, yeah, that's had at least 100 games on it, at least 100 legs on that board. And as you can see, it's still in the original position. Sisal and everything is virtually the same as the day that I opened the box. Virtually the same. So I think, I mean, it's not the end of the long-term test. I said the long-term test would be 3 months, and I think it's probably about 3 weeks now, something like that, 2 or 3 weeks that I've actually had it up. But I've got to say I'm really, really impressed with the board. Not with the people who make it, but definitely with the board. Paul Nichols, cool, nice one, mate. Cheers. Love the channel, by the way. Thanks, Paul. I love you too. Right, Dave. Target, Mission 2, 180. Yeah. To be honest with you, the 180, is it the Gladiator 3? Had a bit of a... Now, again, this is another one. And do you know something? Big companies really, really wind me up. They're really stupid, they are. 180, I've got a Gladiator. I've got a Gladiator 3 somewhere, which was the latest board at the time, and it had only just come out. And do you know something? It cost me 50, I think it was 58 quid. I've never spent that on a dartboard. I've never spent that on a dartboard before. And do you know something? We must have thrown 20 darts at it, and the 60 looked like it had been pummeled with an hammer. It was really, really bad. Anyway, I got in touch with 180. Again, not interested. Didn't care. Just totally blasé about it. To be honest with you, I think they replied to me on my first email, and then the subsequent emails I sent after that, they didn't even reply to me. So if that isn't a Farquhar Harson pill, I don't know what is. Proper game with. Yep, you're absolutely bang on there, Craig, mate. Craig 19, you're absolutely bang on. Practice like you mean it. Because it's the same. The amount of people that I coach, and I must say, it must be an handful in 5 years. And they know better than me, they know more than me. And you just think to yourself, well, you know what I mean? What are you doing here? if you know better than me, why have you come to me for instruction? But yeah, one of them, shorts, flip-flops, t-shirt, turned up for a serious coaching session, come a fair decent way as well, and turns up in a pair of flip-flops, a t-shirt and a pair of shorts on. And I could tell straight away, as soon as he walked in, that he wasn't interested. What he was looking for was, again, like I said before, for me to get a box of pills out and say to him, yeah, mate, if you swallow them one a day, you'll be a fantastic dart player in a month's time. Or by tomorrow morning. It's just, it's Fantasy Island. It don't work like that. Top main. Rio Roswell says top main. Right, Mark Kennedy. Hiya, Mark. You all right, lad? Hope you're doing well and keeping them tight. Paul Boardman. What's the actual difference between an Argos Blade 5 and a DC Blade 5? It's the biscuits, basically. It's the amount of biscuits that are in it. I don't know whether go on YouTube. If you go on YouTube, you'll find out how a dartboard's made. And you have sisal that comes in like round things, and they call these round things biscuits. Right? So, say a DC Blade 5 is made to a certain price. So, you're paying 50 quid for it, and you're getting, let's say, 26 biscuits in it. You go to Argos, you buy an Argos Blade 5, you might get 18 biscuits in it. So the difference between the one and the other, don't forget, the guy who manufactures the board, he's got to pay for those biscuits. So basically, the less biscuits you have, the cheaper the board can be. It just means that it's not packed as tightly. And I've had a few people who've sent me photographs of Blade 5s that have come from Argos that have actually blown like balloons. The sisals come right out, the glues come away and all that sort of stuff, whereas the ones from DC are ones that you buy from a reputable company, as I would say. Not that Argos isn't a reputable company, they are, but they are basically a supermarket. So what they do is buy big and buy cheap. And that's the thing, you see, is if you're a big company, and this is why I talk about the big boys when I'm talking about Target and Winmau, who are Nordo, also Red Dragon, they all belong to the same family. You've got a load of, it's not a load, it's about 3 or 4 big manufacturers. And the thing with big manufacturers is they're the same as Argos. What they can do, you see, is they can get onto a supplier. So say somebody who manufactures dartboards, and the industry that I'm in, it happens exactly the same with the supermarkets. What they do is they tell you, they say to you, will you make me 1,000 boards, 10,000 boards, 1,000,000 boards? How much can you make them for? So you say, right, they've got so many biscuits in them, this is how we make them. You send them a sample and you turn around and say that sample is, let's say to Argos, 28 quid. And they'll go, oh, hang on a minute, no, we want to be selling them for 28 quid. With such a massive order, can't you get that price down a bit? Well, the only way that the manufacturer can keep his margin, which if you think about it, the manufacturer's margin is tiny compared to the supermarket's margin. And the thing is, the manufacturer he's got loads of people that he's employing and what have you to make those dartboards. He's got employees and they've got families, they've got mortgages and what have you. So there's only a certain price point where he can afford to make those boards and distribute them to whoever's going to sell them to you. Now, the only way that he can cut costs on those boards is by cutting corners. The only way you can cut corners on a dartboard is by putting less biscuits in it, which means that the compression isn't as good. It won't last as long. They can compromise on the glue, which holds the sisal to the actual, if you look, the piece of chipboard at the back, which is what most of them have got, or some of them have got MDF now, but it used to be chipboard, and they're actually glued to the chipboard. And obviously there's different qualities of chipboard, which means if somebody uses a cheaper version of the chipboard, you screw your big fat screw into the back of it, you put your wedges in and bang your wedges in, and it pulls the screw out the back. And then the board, it's not useless, you can repair it, you can put a square piece of wood on the back and then remanufacture it so as it will work. But it just means that the actual board itself isn't of the same sort of like standard. And there you go, there's another Dynamite Dave waffle. Hello, Dave. Mark 7. I've not got my glasses, mate, so... And the thing is, with this live thing, you see, is I've got a chat thing on one side, and if I have it too big, I can't see what's going on. So I promise I'll fetch my glasses upstairs with me next week. I promise. Right, I'm having to practice in flip-flops at the minute because I have an infected toenail. I would never turn up in flip-flops for a serious coaching session that I paid for. Yeah, of course, mate. It's your money. Exactly. You're absolutely bang on. You're coming to me and paying at a weekend 50 quid for an hour's coaching. As soon as you turn up and you're like that, I can tell that you're not serious. Like I say, I've got to admit, it's only a handful of times, 4 or 5 times in 5 years that I've been doing this. But you just know straight away. You know when people are not, they think that you can give them some form of elixir or something that you can give them that they'll go to sleep tonight and wake up tomorrow morning as a good dart player. And I promise you that can't, no matter who you are, no matter who I am, doesn't matter who I am, that just ain't going to happen. That's like, like I've said to people, that's like giving somebody a set of car keys and expecting them to wake up the following morning and be a fantastic driver. It's not going to happen. I mean, it's a lot easier than an automatic, I do admit, but if you're going to drive a car, or if you're going to drive, like I did, a manual truck, and you've got 16 speeds on it, you've got you've got 4 over 4 over 4, so you've got like 4 on the floor with 4 splits, low range, and then you've got 4 over the top with 4 splits. That's 16 speeds, and that takes some learning, and you don't learn that how to drive that overnight. Just like you can't learn to play darts overnight. Right, what else have we got here? Hi, Dave. Love the channel. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. It's just what thing, it does it all for me. I just like when people like what I do and they understand and they're prepared to sit and listen to what I've got to say. Hopefully I can help you, and that's what does it all for me. I absolutely love it. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do, and I love being able to do what I do, which is that giving back to people. I've already got a decent job, you know what I mean? I don't want for anything. We the missus, the kids have grown up and everything have gone, so we're comfortably off. I don't need to be a professional dart player. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to teach people how to play darts, but it's what I wanted to do. It's what I want to do, and it's what I love to do. I could have took the other direction of like when I became really good at it, which was probably the best part of 10 years ago now, so I probably would have just about had enough time to go through the PDC and then go into the tours and all this, that and the other to actually build myself up, but it's not for me. I like teaching you lads. I'm a working class lad, and this is where I want to be, and I'm getting to do something that very, very few people get to do. And what I mean by that is I'm actually getting to teach people, you know what I mean, to do what I love. And I've done this for years, and I've done it with other stuff. I think I've helped people start businesses before now. Like I said earlier on in the thing, I've had, I used to be a motor vehicle engineer. That was what I did when I first started from school. Started off as an engineer. Then I went into motor vehicles, and then became a motor vehicle engineer. Then I used to work on Porsches, Ferraris, Lamborghinis. This is going back into the late 80s, early 90s to the mid 90s. And again, it's engineering. I used to love doing that, and then from then I went on and I started my own business. I was one of the 3 first mobile mechanics in Great Britain. There was only 3 of us, and 2 of us were in my area. He started before me, but I didn't know anything about him until I'd been running about 6 months. But yeah, what I used to do was I was one of the first ever mobile mechanics that had come to your workplace or your home, do it on your drive, do clutches for you, servicing, all sorts of stuff. And then from there I got my own little garage over there in Ashton-under-Lyne, and I ran that for nearly a decade, which was really good. Really enjoyed that. It was fantastic. And then I became very, very ill. I got E. coli septicemia, which a lot of people up in Scotland died of. I got that at the same time as them, and I spent a good few weeks in hospital where it was touch and go. So I think that also, at that age, at 28, changed my perspective in life. It changed me from being owed something like older living or old a life to believing that I am on borrowed time. And I've been on borrowed time for the last, well, what is it now? So I was nearly 30 and I'm now 50 odd. So the last 28 years. I've been on borrowed time for the last 28 years. I should have died 28 years ago. But I didn't, and I'm still here. And I live life like I mean it. The same way as I play darts. Same way as I do everything. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I think I try and help everybody that I can, and I just hope a little bit of that comes back round. And to be honest with you, it has done. It's been really good. If you think about it, I've run this channel for best part of 5 years now. And if you go back through every video I've ever made, and I've usually got one or two clowns after I've made a statement like this and spoke openly and honestly about things on my channel like I do. I tend to get one or two clowns afterwards that do it. But you go back and have a look in my videos all the way back for the last, run the channel probably 4 years, maybe 4.5 years. You go back and find out how many negative comments there is. And for somebody who's got best part of 6,500 subscribers now, I think, if I remember rightly, it was 6,300 or 6,400 and something the last time I looked the other day. For somebody who's got that amount of subscribers, and I don't get negative comments, and I don't get trolled by anybody really, apart from one or two people over the years, but that's one of those things you just have to, if you like me, it's the way that I was born and it's the way that I am. There's no retreat and no surrender. You just can't do it, because if you do that to those people, like anything, hundreds more pile on top and they just keep giving it you until you curl up and switch off. Well, no point in doing that with me, because it'd never happen. Right, end of that little bit of a waffle. Right. What light do you use for the board? It's a 180s Illumina. It's 180 Illumina. You type that in. Now, I've always used those halo lights. Again, my mate, I'm going to say he's my mate because he is. He doesn't just supply me with stuff that I buy off him. He really is a mate of mine, and we talk all the time, and that's, there you go, Brian Van Doren from BVD Darts. What an absolute star of a bloke. Absolute star. And he said to me, he said, Dave, he said, I've got exclusive rights to these lights for 3 months. And this was going back to, I think it was Christmas this year or just after Christmas. No, sorry, not this year. Would it have been September last year or October? It's a good while ago anyway. I can't remember off the top of my head. My memory's not the best. But I'd use the halo lights, and there's a couple of things that I'd noticed with them. If you've got a scoreboard at the side of an halo light, you've got no light on it. So you've then got to compromise by putting another light up that's going to shine in your eyes. The other thing is the halo lights, you tend to bounce your darts off them sometimes. With me doing a lot of coaching and what have you, and live coaching in the studio, obviously I used to get a lot of people that used to, let's say, miss the board and hit the light. So what I did was, when Brian came up with these, he said, I've got exclusive rights to them. Do you want one? So I bought one off him, and I got it at cost. He gave it to me for what he paid for it, which was, I was over the moon with that, absolutely over the moon. An absolute star. So he's helped me along fantastically. Like, I do loads of advertising for him. He usually appears on nearly every one of my videos. I put the little BVD thing up in the corner. And like I say, I got this light off him, and it was an absolute revelation, because when I bought it, I thought, it's a strip light, it's gonna have loads of shadows on it. How can you get rid of shadows on a strip light? Well, you tell me that, because I can't work it out. It must be something to do with the diffuser. But let me go over and I'll show you. I'll put a dart in it and there's no shadow. If you look at that, it's on your telly. If you've got it on your telly or a big screen, you can see that now. There is, oh, Simon Scott. Wait, Simon Scott's in. Let's fire her up. Gotta fire her up. Are we ready? Where are we? Come on, go back. That's for you, Simon. Nice one, mate. Nice one. As you can see with the light, there's no shadow on it. And I was absolutely amazed at this. I don't know how they've achieved it or what they've done to achieve it, but not only that, it's an absolutely fantastic light. Just something that, like I say, I'm still gobsmacked about it months and months on. Because if you look at the light and you look at the sides of it, it's got lovely illumination. So you can have a scoreboard at the side of it. Also, if it's like a club setting or a pub setting, depending on what your pub or club is like, ours, we have a caller. So, referee, stroke caller. And the halo lights, where the referee stands, actually get in his vision. And he absolutely loves these. He absolutely loves them because obviously you've got the light and it's really sharp for him where he stands. He said it makes what's happening on the board a lot more vivid. So believe me, well worth buying one of these. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. Thumbs up. Thanks, KEB. KEB. Nice one, mate. Thanks. I try my best. And the thing is with me is I'm always honest and open with everybody about what I do. Like I say, the thing is, like I've said about YouTube channels and what have you, and everybody who's been around me a long time will know I never put adverts on my channel. And I could have done, and I could have made money off that as well as the could have made money off both of them, but I chose not to. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put adverts on my channel because they're the most annoying thing in the world. But now that I've had me taken off me, what can I do? If I want to carry on doing what I'm doing and having live streams with you lads and lasses and doing the content, doing the videos and what have you, to do that, I have to have a day off work every week, and something's got to pay for that because I've still got my mortgage to pay. Well, not my mortgage, because that's gone and my kids have grown up, but I've still got my living expenses. I've got to have the money that I need to live. So that's the way that it went. And now, because that has changed, it's just gone right off the edge of a cliff. Right, anyway. Hi. Right, Ryan. There's an app called My Dart Training. Yeah, there's a lot of apps out there for training. Again, as I say, with all the different things, you get these rubber rings that you stick on the dartboard. You get the Sight Right. You get Peter Wright's rubber rings, Eric Bristow's rubber rings, Charlie Farley's rubber rings, and all sorts of stuff. All I would say to you is use them as a tool. If you want to use them as a tool, use them as a tool. Do not think that they're a silver bullet, because they're not. I can absolutely guarantee you of that. The only thing that I do advocate is, like I say, I have a Champions Choice board, but I don't play on it all the time. I only play on it usually for a couple of hours. Maybe if I'm going to a tourney, I might do a couple of hours before I go. I might do an hour the day before, an hour day before that, just to tighten your darts up right on the last minute. If you use it all the time, it's for me, I mean, you might totally disagree with this, but for me, it seems to me like the difference between playing snooker and playing pool. You've got the same size balls on a snooker table as you do on a pool table, but the pool table is a lot smaller. Ha! Davey lad, you've got to have one of these again. Cheers, Dave. I'll tell you what, that's me, that, isn't it? It's an Iptipoptimus. That's definitely me, that, Dave, with this belly. Definitely, mate. That's definitely me. Let's have a couple of visits and then think. What we'll do is, what time is it now? It's 34. We'll give it another 5 minutes and then we'll wrap it up, eh? But do you know something? I could do this all night. I really could. Absolutely. Absolutely loving it. Really am. You guys are fantastic. Really are. Or should I say, lads and lasses. Another thing that I might wax lyrical about next week, the ladies' game, eh? Let's have a chat about that next week, because there's some absolute crackers out there, and they still now they're coming on. It's coming on fantastic. Let's talk about that next week. Let's not spoil it. Talk about that next week. And I think you might be surprised who my favourite player is. And it's not somebody you see all the time. See, at some point what I'll do is I'll actually have a proper throw and all. Stop yakking. Oh, come on, David. $100. I love that hippopotamus. He's mint, isn't he? With his baseball cap on. $100. I've got to say, I do think they look well smart, these, don't they? That may be BVD Scaracities with the thing of the gold points in them. I think they look mint. Use my darts trainer as well. Great app, yeah? Yeah, like I say, use it as a tool. Use it as a tool. Don't think that it's gonna transform you overnight, but like I say, you just use it like a carpenter would use a hammer, or like a carpenter would use a chisel. Peter writes rubber rings. Sounds like, yeah, something from Hamsum's. Oh, I'm saying nothing, you know what I mean? I'm saying nothing. Oh, well, Peter, you know, he's got them rubber rings again. Actually, in the 70s, didn't they call them an Arab strap? Oh! There's the game for the 140 there. Ah, 60. Hey, Al Jackson. Do you know something? That's something that's never, and I think I've made myself very, very unpopular sometimes, I'll tell you, because that's what they expect in the pub. They expect you to go easy on them. I remember winning I used to be a member of not a bike gang, but I was a member of a bike club, probably something totally different in America you're thinking of than what we have over here in England. To be honest with you, in England, the more, apart from the proper angels and the disciples and all that, which we had naught to do with, ours was more like a middle-aged man's coffee club. But I'll never forget, it was probably going back about 10 years now, and we had a pool contest in the club, and it was me and a lady of one of the upper echelons of the club, shall we say, who was in the semi-final, and I broke off, and I think I broke off. I think a yellow went down, if I remember rightly, and I emptied the table. All I had left was the black, and I remember by the time she'd knocked 3 balls down, like, and I come back, the pub was just awash with booze. Didn't stop me from knocking black in, like, but no, I'm one of these, me. I believe in real equality. I don't believe in pretend equality. If you let somebody win, it doesn't matter whether they're a woman. If a woman lets a bloke win, a bloke lets a woman win. It's not real equality, is it? The only thing you can have is you can either have equality or no equality. You can't have pretend equality, if you know what I mean. $60. 125. Right, finish these off now. Like I say, you've stuck around with me now for an hour and 40. Yeah, is it an hour and 40 minutes? An hour and 40 minutes. You're an absolute bunch of stars. I love yous all to bits. Now, don't forget, lads and lasses, I'm going to wind this up now. You'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in, as you know. And as I've always said, only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 before I say that, see you next week. Before that, a couple of videos will come out. So you take care of yourselves, everybody. Loved a lot of you to bits. Right? So, as I said before, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey! See ya!